Hi, I'm David Essel. For the past 30 years, as a #1 best-selling author, counselor, master life coach, and minister, I have helped millions of people to radically change their lives. In the world of psychology, there's one thing that usually comes up with each of my clients in one form or another that makes it really hard for them to change, and that's stress and or anxiety. But there's something that we've been using for years now. I believe it was created over 100 years ago that can help individuals to get past that initial stress, that initial anxiety, so that the logical portion of the brain can get to work and do the things that we need to do to heal. And that technique is called cognitive behavioral therapy. It's one of my go-to tools. Now, I believe that this technique, cognitive behavioral therapy, can help almost immediately to stop the stress reaction, stop that initial reaction of anger, the craving for the alcohol, the nicotine, the sugar, like whatever's creating stress. Maybe you're in traffic and all of a sudden you say, okay, this is overload, these people are crazy, I'm going nuts. You're about ready to give someone the finger or scream or yell. And then you apply cognitive behavioral therapy. Cognitive behavioral therapy, the whole key behind it is to put an immediate stop to the anxiety, the anxiousness, the nervousness, the frustration, the boredom, the rage, the anger, the shame, the guilt. You see all these emotions I'm talking about? Cognitive behavioral therapy can put a stop to it so it gives you a break. It allows the brain to start to calm down. Now, cognitive behavioral therapy, the way we teach it, has 4 key components. Number 1 is, you'll notice on my wrist, I have a band. It's called the Huna band. Now, before I found out about the Huna band, we used to use rubber bands. Rubber bands work great, but they only last about a week. I've had a Huna band on for several months now. I have had clients that have had them on for several months. They've never broken yet, and that's what we need. But what does this have to do with this? So let me go back to cognitive behavioral therapy. Step number 1, and if you want to write this down, write it down. We have a thought, an emotion that's disturbing. Maybe we're extremely bored. Maybe we're really frustrated. Maybe we're craving that nicotine or alcohol or food. Maybe we're in a situation where that we've just screwed up, and we're talking about tennis. Someone just does a double fault. They're walking to the other service box, and they are frustrated. This is where cognitive behavioral therapy and the Huna band really come in to help. Step number 1, you notice that thought, right? Oh my gosh, I really want to have a drink. But you've given up drinking. So what do? Number 2, you snap the band. So you have the thought that you don't want, the anxiety in traffic, the craving for a drink, the double fault in tennis that you're all frustrated now. Step 1 is you notice that thought. Step 2 is you snap the band. Now it must sting, okay, just a little bit. It's got to be uncomfortable. Step 3 is we say the words, cancel that thought. And step 4, we use the words, I am free. Now imagine this. When pain is registered, it's not registered here, it's registered here in the sensory cortex. And where do thoughts arise? You're right, here, also in the brain. So this is the beauty and the power of cognitive behavioral therapy. Over time, every time that stressful thought, that frustration, the boredom, the anxiety, the traffic issues come up, you immediately snap the band, cancel that thought, I am free. It takes what, 3 seconds to go through it? Over time, the brain starts to register, wait a second, every time I have this thought of boredom or craving or anger, I get this pain. And it starts to reduce the number of times that thought comes into our mind. Isn't that amazing? I could tell you 1,000 stories. I used it myself recently, a very difficult experience. My dog, Saint, a rescue dog that I got 8 years ago, I was sitting doing a radio interview in the chair, just like this. My dog was sitting next to me, and in the middle of the interview, I hear this outrageous yelp. It didn't even sound like my dog. And I didn't even look. The radio host says to me on my ear set, what was that noise? And I go, I don't know. And I turned just as my dog Saint's head hit the floor. He had a massive heart attack, and he died. I picked him up and started doing CPR with him. I put him on a bed. My personal assistant, Mary Lou, started doing mouth-to-mouth. I was doing CPR compressions. Nothing helped. He was gone. I just told the founder of Huna Bands, Tyler, when I talked to him the other day, the story, and it was amazing. For the next 7 days, I had the hardest time coping with life. But every day to get myself out of bed, I used the Huna band. Now, I wasn't doing it to try to forget that Saint had died. I was doing it to just stop the incessant sadness, the frustration, the questions. What could I have done differently? Why couldn't I have done this? I was able to function. And for that next 7 days, I probably snapped this band 20 times a day and went through. Cancel that thought, I am free. And I know it helped me because I still had to do my counseling sessions. I still had to do my speaking events. I still had to do my television shows. I still had to do my radio shows. I didn't have an option to start my life. But I needed to find a way to give my brain a short break. And then I started doing more work to deal with the grieving process. Now, I had a physician that I worked with years ago that his whole office in the OR, he was a surgeon, was a mess. His family life was a mess. His surgeon's life was a mess. Everyone in the OR was always on each other's backs. And he came in. I said, Doc, it's top down. He goes, don't tell me that. I go, no, I'm serious. There's an energy you're bringing that we've got to change. So what happened was, when he would get out of the car in the morning, he noticed right away that he was walking into the OR frustrated. Now, this was a guy on the West Coast. He's not used to dealing with all these different, a staff of 15, right, on the West Coast of the U.S. He wasn't used to dealing with this many people. There was all different kind of personality types. And he was so upset that every day as he walked into the operating room, he was automatically physically upset. We changed that. We were able to change that thought, and when we changed his approach to life, everyone in the office calmed down. 30 days later, he comes in and goes, David, I don't know how this magic works, but my whole office is in alignment now. You see, it doesn't matter if you're an athlete. I played basketball Division I. I wish I had this tool back then, right? It doesn't matter if you're an athlete that's frustrated on the court, a parent that's super frustrated with a child, maybe with your partner, maybe with your boss, maybe with traffic. Cognitive behavioral therapy with the Huna band can work magic. Now, after you're able to stop that incessant thought process by cognitive behavioral therapy with the Huna band, then you can do deeper work to get to the root of what's the cause of my boredom, what's the cause of my anger, what's the cause of my anxiety in traffic, and then we can start to heal. But for immediate relief and to decrease the insanity and the stress and anxiety in the brain, my first go-to as a professional is cognitive behavioral therapy with a Huna band. Use them, love them, tell your friends about them. This will radically change your life as well as everyone else's. I'm David Essel. So glad that you're with me right now. Use the Huna band, use CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. Let's heal together. Have a beautiful day.